Well, the National Assembly will debate a motion of impeachment today, calling for the removal of President Zuma from office. The motion was tabled by the Democratic Alliance just minutes after last week's landmark Constitutional Court ruling. So what makes this different from a number of previous attempts by the opposition to remove the president? We're joined now by the Deputy Head of the Wits School of Law, Professor Mtende Mhango. Professor, good morning. Thanks for your time. Certainly a very interesting day ahead for us. Hearing the different explanations, impeachment is not not a term we use in South Africa. We seem to associate it with what happens in the US and some other countries, like we're hearing happening in Brazil as well. Impeachment, vote of no confidence, what are the differences? I mean, we know the DA has tried for a motion of no confidence in the past. What is the difference this time?
So you're right that our Constitution doesn't use the word impeachment. It uses the word removal in referring to a similar process to impeachment. But let's just talk about the two processes you've mentioned. So the Constitution in Section 102 talks about a means in which a president could be removed out of office. And that is a motion of no confidence. And that is a motion that can be brought by any member, and it is voted on by a majority of members. And after that, the implication is that the president then has to resign, including the entire cabinet. And then a new president would have to be appointed, and a new cabinet would have to come in. That's the implications of it. And then we've got the Section 89 process, which is what we are going to be seeing unfolding today, which is the removal or impeachment, as others would call it. Now, this is different from a motion of no confidence in the sense that it is sort of like a quasi-judicial process where there's a trial. So the president is actually tried for having allegations of violating the Constitution. And there are three grounds on which you can remove under Section 89. One is where the president is found guilty of having seriously violated the Constitution or the law, or seriously misconducted himself, or if he's unfit to hold office. Okay. So those are the three grounds in which they can be used to be removed under Section 89.
So looking at the Court decision and everything, that all the debate around it, do they have grounds for that?
Well, certainly there are grounds to make the allegation that the president violated the Constitution. The question as to whether or not the Concord findings amount to a serious violation, I mean, that's something that is up for debate. And I think that is what the lawyers are going to get involved on both sides, representing the National Assembly and the president. And, others will make the argument that it is not, and others will say it is a serious violation.
Okay, so looking at what happens in Parliament today, they will debate a motion of impeachment. What decision comes out of today? What happens today in Parliament?
So what happens today in Parliament is that the House, because the Constitution says that the National Assembly must make this decision. So the House will have to make a determination or a decision to say that there is sufficient grounds of allegations that a removal proceedings should actually commence. And so if they agree, they are likely to set up an ad hoc committee that is now going to hear the evidence and on both sides to then move with the proceedings themselves. And then after that, that ad hoc committee will probably submit a recommendation to the entire House, upon which the matter is now going to be decided. Now, that will be the decision to say we are removing or not with a two-thirds majority vote. Okay,
so given that we know that they all have to agree, the chances of that are very unlikely. Do you agree that they're unlikely?
I think that the chances are very unlikely, and because the legal implications of a removal is that the president loses all the benefits, pension, security services, everything that
in that process, if it's a removal.
If he's removed, he loses benefits, and he also is prevented by law from ever holding a public office. And I have serious doubts that the ANC, given the stature of the president and what he has done for this country, they would want to leave him out in the cold without any benefits when he leaves office. So it's very doubtful that the ruling party would support a motion removing the president.
Okay, when you say what he has done, you're talking about the anti-apartheid struggle.
I'm talking about his the liberation movement and all that he has done in the past to the liberation of this.
So what are the options after this if the DA doesn't get what it wants?
Well, if they don't get this motion passed, then the other option is to essentially move a motion of no confidence, and because that is because you actually don't need a 2/3 majority there. Yeah. It's actually much easier. The grounds upon which you can move a motion of no confidence are also not stated in the Constitution. So you can actually remove a president under a motion of no confidence for a silly reason like you don't like the way he sings. I mean, there's no legal grounds upon
severity. You're looking at how serious the issue is. It's about whether everyone agrees. We know they've had no joy with that in the past as well, because there has to be a vote, and then whether there is a secret vote, one is also highly unlikely. That is also highly unlikely, but the decision would have to be that of the National Assembly to say whether it will be a secret vote or not. Okay, and Prof, just given the recent rumblings, we heard yesterday reports of what the Gauteng ANC wants, and we know of the divisions. We've seen Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan, where we're looking at what he's saying, and the warnings. The divisions are obviously there, that not everybody agrees, not everybody's on the president's side in the ANC. If it had to come to a case of a vote, what do you envisage? Just if you had to throw out a wild guess, what do you think would happen if it came to a vote of no confidence? Well, if it came to a vote of no confidence, you need a majority, members. Yeah. I think that, given what's happening in the party. Look, given what is happening and what we're hearing now, I have serious doubts that the members of the ruling party would vote in favor with the on the side of the opposition. In an election year as well? In an election year, because the implications on the party itself, I mean, this is an issue that is beyond one individual. It involves the party, it involves the country. And so there are serious issues of public interest concerned here. And I doubt if the ANC would, I think at this stage, would want to align themselves with the opposition cause that the president should be removed, either under Section 89 or under Section 102 of the Constitution. Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see what happens, but it seems more or less the writing is on the wall. But again, a wait-and-see situation. Thank you very much, Deputy Head of the Wits School of Law, Professor Mtende Mhango.